Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Big Talk Pigskin. I'm your host, Bowden. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Korbin. Korbin, how are we doing?
Doing good.
Great to hear. Hope everybody's been doing well out there. Been a little bit since we had an episode, about 2 weeks. But we're back now, ready to talk about some new stuff. Happy March Madness to everybody as well. Hope your brackets are going well. We're not quite way through the first day for us. When you guys are seeing this, we'll be full 1 day through. So hope your brackets are going well. They're not busted already. Had some close games so far. It's been a lot of fun. But we're not here to talk about basketball. Here to talk about some college football stuff. So first up on the agenda, a couple new rules. So there was going to be, I know we had discussed this already, not on here, but there was going to be leg covering rules in the NCAA, similar to the NFL, where you had to be covered below the knee. The NCAA has not passed that. It was not passed.
They haven't?
No.
Oh, it went to vote, though, correct?
It went to vote. It went to vote. It was not passed. So, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
From the NFL, I don't see a reason to have that there. I see no reason for it to be needed at all. Not much else to say about that one.
Well, and I mean, I even struggle with like the NFL's reasoning on it too.
I don't. Their reasoning's dumb.
Leave it to the player for swag. If you want to wear no socks, that's your God-given right. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You shouldn't. I don't know. I think these rules are extremely interesting. That
there's no reason for them.
Yeah, and these are grown men. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I remember, like, we were fortunate to play Pee Wee football together, correct? For one season?
Yeah, two at that level, and then we played alternating years through middle school and high school.
Which obviously, and we obviously played high school football together too. But I just think back to that so often because they weren't so strict on the socks as much as they were strict on the knee pads. I always remember being like,
they were very strict on knee pads.
Very strict on knee pads. And so I just think about it where it's like, all right, I understand we're teaching these kids fundamentals of football and stuff like that. That makes sense for protection. High school, same thing. It should, you're protecting your assets. College, I even think, these guys that are wearing like the crop top or like the kicker.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a little weird.
When the kicker's doing
it, I don't care.
I don't care either.
I don't care on a kicker. Level. Any other player at all levels of football, you should have knee pads.
Now,
I don't care how small they are.
Exactly. I don't care how small it is.
If you're a skilled guy, receiver, have a little bit smaller of knee pads. It needs to cover your kneecap. It doesn't need to cover from the top of your knee, like bottom of your thigh to the top of your shin. We had some really big knee pads back in the day, like especially young.
Yeah.
And like now, obviously, it's not that way anymore.
Well, and it's kind of evolved.
They're almost non-existent.
It's kind of evolved, right? Because I don't know if there ever was a individual mandate for knee pads in college.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think programs have become like so lax, like
they just don't care.
Exactly. So like in recent memory, so it's not something that people weren't regulating it, and now they've taken it to a degree where people are like, sort of going to vote. What my question is though is the sock length, right? And I know we said we weren't going to get super into this rule, but it's like, what does it matter?
It's interesting.
What does it matter if a little bit of the calf is showing? And not only this is they're going to take it away from us in the video game too. Why are you giving us? You know what I mean? What are we doing?
There's just no point. I just find it a pointless rule to add or entertain at all in the slightest. I don't think the NFL should have it either, but it's the way it is. And fortunately, we don't have to see this in college football for at least one more year. Another rule up. I just saw that this happened like 10 minutes before we started recording. Okay. Not sure if you saw what I had sent you. Targeting has changed its rules when it comes to suspensions, not the actual rule of targeting itself. So you do not get automatically ejected for the next game if you get a targeting penalty.
So you're only
now it's now your first offense. You are disqualified from the rest of the game. Your first offense for the season, that is, the season. Disqualified for the rest of the game, but you are allowed to play in the next game, full game. Your second offense of the season, you're disqualified for the remainder of the game, have to sit out first half of the next game. your third offense, and I assume if you have any more past 3, this would still be in the same effect. You're disqualified for the rest of that game and miss the entire following game.
Wow.
And I think this is huge. This is huge. There's a time and a place for someone to have to miss the next game for a targeting. You have one targeting on yourself. It's probably an accident. I honestly think there should be some sort of review to it as well. Maybe there is, and not everything's out. Because there's a lot of times you look at a targeting call and you go, yeah, that was targeting,
a little ticky-tacky.
But that wasn't his intent.
Yeah.
The ball carrier changed his body in a different way where the guy tackling could not change himself, could not move out of position, and he accidentally hits him in the head or like the neck area.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so I think there should be some review to it, but I think this is the right a good step going forward for this rule.
I think I kind of worry because, I mean, there are specific players on the defense that stand out that are going to get targeting, and I don't know, someone that's like jumping out to my mind right now is like Jacob Rodriguez. I wonder how many targeting penalties he had this past season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm going to look it up.
You're right. It is more those like linebackers are a lot of the time those who get it because they come down on a running back, and just the way how fast they're moving and the way a running back takes a spin or cut like makes it so they end up hitting them in that area, whether they meant to or not. Sometimes it looks like they did mean to, or they had bad tackling form. And that's the real reason this rule was in place of targeting, was to help fix tackling form. But we're just punishing players and not like helping them. This, I think, is the right way to handle it, at least for now. But again, I think there should be some sort of review system to this.
Okay. So what I'm pulling up here is there were only 5 players in the NCAA last season that had multiple targeting penalties. So this is something that I think that
this is good.
I mean, this is a good thing, because I wanted to see really the numbers
right.
On this. Yeah, right. Hold on.
Because I mean, like we're seeing then that is the majority of people who have one. Mm-hmm. They don't keep getting them. It's not like they're going out there purposefully and getting them 90% of the time. So to sit here and go, well, you can't play in your next game because you made a bad play, you had bad form, the running back, the receiver changed their body where their body placement was, and now you're punished for a game and a half, 2 games. I don't think that's right. But if you're going out there and you're getting multiple of these, you're doing something wrong that needs fixed. And you should be given a harsher punishment.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a better list of players for us here. So Josh Trotter, Nate Johnson.
Can I get schools as well if it has?
Yeah, sorry. So funny enough, Josh Trotter is Missouri. Okay. He is a linebacker. Nate Johnson, also Missouri. So something going on
at Missouri. What's Eli Drinkwitz doing over there?
Jayshawn Brom, Michigan. He was a linebacker. We had a couple hot heads this past season on Michigan side of things. And then Xavier Lucas, he was a corner for Miami, I believe, or maybe a safety, maybe a nickel.
Maybe.
But
those are the positions that are going
to for Miami. But yeah, he had multiple targetings last season as well. So interesting there though. I'm trying to see who had the most. Like I want to see actual like number wise, but Google is not being kind to me, nor is AI. So
well, it is what it is. But yeah, this is a good rule. This is great for the sport. Targeting has become really, really bad recently. Just the way it's been called and everything. And I think this is a good way to kind of be able to go and we got to punish this guy for making this play, but we're not going to kill his season.
Right.
I think this is the right way to handle it. So with that, next up on the agenda here today, tampering rules. So the Big Ten kind of button heads with the NCAA here. The SEC is also kind of a part of this as well. They want some of the investigations to also be put on hold. So pretty much the Big Ten, the SEC, they want these tampering like allegations and these infractions and procedures to just kind of be relooked at, everything get put on hold, and let's find a new way. They say that the current framework isn't good with how the transfer portal is now.
I would agree.
I agree we need to revise these rules, but I think there's a lot of teams in here that are sitting here going, oh, we did a lot of tampering really, really bad. We're trying to get off of punishment. They're going to find us. Let's get away from punishment. Make them put everything on hold. I think that's a big part of this.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree we do need to kind of look at these rules. There's not really any sort of rules put into place for this because they just threw a transfer portal on us and just said, oh, hey, everybody's a free agent whenever they want to be.
And I've seen like bits and pieces, like as far as the government going and like stepping in to like, you know, kind of play a role in this. I don't know if we need all that, right? Like we need some sort of governing body. I've seen people suggest like Nick Saban maybe get involved. I think that's something that would be interesting, but we need some sort of change, right? We need some sort of switch up. And so what sucks is the Big Ten and the SEC are really the only ones that are going to regulate and sort of dictate that. And that's evident with the college football playoff like layout, right? And like what that kind of looks like. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of come together and what they sort of agree upon, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have to go to talks in between the two and kind of go to the NCAA with their proposal because that's who dictates college football right now. Though they're the two big heads. I mean, you got the Big Ten up top. The SEC's right there next to them. Right there. But yeah, they're kind of just saying with players being under contract, saying that you can't go out and target them. I mean, obviously we saw DeMond Williams with Washington this year was definitely getting contacted despite the fact he had signed a multi-year contract, NIL agreement with Washington, tries to get out of it. They say no. He has to go back. It's this whole mess. We've talked about this.
Which is crazy.
But this is why we need these rules because these kids are trying to get out of these things. Like you need to read your contract. Read what you're signing. Don't just sign something because you see a dollar sign on it. There's a lot of kids getting taken advantage of because
100%.
of tampering. Because of tampering.
And you know, even my time at Penn State, you know, something they always told us and like people love to like slide into these contracts is in perpetuity. It sounds like a very very friendly statement. You know, you slide it in there if you're not super conscious of that, right? Reading the fine lines and stuff like that. In perpetuity, that's forever. That's you know what I mean. That is forever. That's no ifs, ands, buts about it. And so I'm not saying that these guys are getting hit with this, but it's interesting to see how, I mean, even these contracts are like sort of changing the NCAA and like the landscape. And we're even having arguments. Oh, he couldn't get out of his deal to leave this school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We shouldn't be having that in college football.
Right.
We shouldn't. You should either be at your school for all 4 years. I don't even know if I want to say that, but I think we need something that I think we
some
can
sort of
do
regulation
to get around this. Yes, is some sort of regulation. I think we need contracts. The letter of intent was a contract originally that said, hey, you're committing to be here for 4 years. You're getting this scholarship to be here for 4 years and play this sport unless the head coach is fired or leaves. That's basically what a letter of intent said. Not specifically, but you were allowed to leave if your head coach left.
Right. And that's like
have 2 years.
A reasonable
I think 2 years needs to be the standard.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think you come into college as a freshman. If you are on an NIL deal, you should be on a 2-year NIL deal. Mm-hmm. 2-year NIL deal with the school. You have to be here for 2 years before you can leave. Then after that, after your sophomore year or your redshirt freshman year, then you can go and maybe sign a 1 year for your junior year because maybe you're going to go to the NFL after that. Right. Or you want to go junior year, sign one, think you're going to the NFL, don't go play as well, transfer somewhere else and sign another 1 year. But I think 2 year out of high school should at least be the standard. And then you can either work out 1 or 2 year deals after that. If you redshirted, even a 3-year deal if you wanted to.
Right.
We need something along these lines. But this is a real deep case, and it's going to keep evolving. I mean, this stuff all just kind of started spiraling about a week ago. So it's just going to keep going. This is going to be a good thing to watch and something we need to watch going forward, and something that needs to be relayed to all of these athletes at all schools, all of these major schools, as I'm sure you would know. I'm sure they wouldn't have told you something like this.
What?
I'm sure they wouldn't have, I'm sure your coaches wouldn't have come to you and been like, tampering rules, don't talk to other coaches. Like, they've already preached, don't talk to other coaches. They don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not something where it's like, hey, this is the rule breakdown. There's sort of like an understanding, right? Where it's like, hey,
right.
You're playing for this school. Like, you represent this school. What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing trying to, basically find refuge elsewhere? Like, and I get it. There are circumstances. Everyone loves to, sort of say, oh, well, that. Yeah, you're right. There are circumstances in which people need to get out of the school or leave the school,
but we need to wait till the season's over.
Right.
We need to wait till the transfer portal window is there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we need to start maybe even giving player bans for things. Not saying like season bans or career bans, but I mean, if you're caught, I think both the school tampering with the player and the player who is, if they are willingly and going out of their way to keep the conversation there and not just trying to close it off, I think they should also maybe get like, oh, hey, you get 5-game suspension, 4-game, 3-game.
Right.
If you haven't redshirted yet, you lose your ability to redshirt.
Right.
Something along those lines.
And I think unfortunately that just gives the NCAA more power. Right?
It does, and we don't want that.
Well, and not only that, do we not want that? I think we're entering a time in which that's just not going to happen. No. Where the Big Ten is
the Big Ten and the SEC.
The Big Ten and the SEC, they are, like, if we're being honest, they are the governing bodies. And what I mean by that is the conglomerate that is college football now is not what it was 10 years ago, and night and day from what it was 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So, right, billions. And so that's like people – it's almost like the NCAA is held together for like the Olympic sports and what other, and it's like, hey, like, well, it makes sense because this is how we've always done it, and that I don't know,
just doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, it won't. I don't think it's.
We have to progress.
Yeah,
we have to progress, and the NCAA doesn't really seem to want to do that.
Too keen on it, right?
Yeah. So that's what we have on tampering. Again, this is something that I think everybody who's listening in on this, you should follow this story, you should follow this timeline the more it develops. And I know I'll definitely be following it more than I currently have been. Like I said, not a whole lot has come from it yet. March Madness is going on. The NCAA isn't worried about this up until mid-April. So it's kind of where we're at. But next up, we got some way too early end of the year Big Ten standings for you guys. Do you just kind of want to reveal this, like bottom to top, 18-1, alternate who's got who each where?
I mean,
like I go 18, then you say you're 18, 17, 17, all the way up the list, and kind of we can give some explanation when it comes.
Yeah,
get through our list, kind of give some explanation on it.
Hold on. I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone.
Okay. He's got 16 teams on there.
Yeah, legitimately. That's how rapid this is this is going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
All right. I got 18. I got my 18.
Perfect. So I'll start off here. My number 18, I think, for next year, despite the fact they're going to be under a new head coach, and I do think there's some promise coming to this program here in the next couple of years. Still think it's going to be a hard season for them next year. Give me UCLA at 18.
UCLA at 18. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I have much higher hopes for UCLA next season.
Yeah,
they're not even in my bottom four. I got to be honest with you.
Okay.
No,
okay.
They're not.
I can understand it.
My worst team right now in the Big Ten, coming off a rough season this past season. Purdue. I think Purdue is staying in the gutter.
Purdue's my 17. Okay. So I'm with you there. I just think UCLA head coaching transition. I just think maybe there's going to be some problems. But
Well,
I have hope. I don't
Mhm.
want them to be this bad. Let me make that clear.
I'm
I don't
taking
want to see UCLA be at the
I'm
bottom.
taking the upside
I just think
on
they
them.
will.
Yeah,
That's good. I'm glad
that's
you
fair.
are, because I'm on the opposite end of that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, 17 is Purdue for me. I think they're
Okay,
down
17
there. I
Purdue.
still think they'll be better than last year.
I
I think
think
they get at least one more win.
mhm. I like it makes me upset because I kind of have like I don't want to say a special place in my heart for this team, but Rutgers, I just don't see them having yeah, I don't see them having a great season. So I have
I'm
them
a little
at
higher
17.
on. I'm a little
Okay.
higher on Rutgers.
Okay.
Number 16, I have Northwestern. It's Northwestern. I think
Very
it's pretty
close to
valid
me.
to have them at the bottom.
I have Maryland.
Maryland. Yep. That's my 15th.
Yep.
That is Maryland for me.
15 is so just kind of running through these because really the top is what we want to get into.
Right.
So, I mean, 15 is I have Michigan State there.
Who'd you have at 16?
16, I had Maryland.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yep.
right. Yep.
Maryland and I Michigan State.
At 15.
14, I have Northwestern.
14 Northwestern. That's where Wisconsin is for me.
I think they are the biggest boomer bust team.
I think they can be.
That. Or excuse me, Pat Fitzgerald. I said fat. But
yeah.
We're not heavy hitters in the portal here, right? Northwestern wise. So no. I mean, we'll have to see. That's why I have them still low. Like I have them at 14. 13. Who do you have?
14 for me, that was Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
not sure if you
okay.
That. 13 for me is Rutgers. That's where I have them. Okay. I have a little bit more hopes for them this season. I like Greg Schiano a lot, so I like to have upside with Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
They play good football.
I have Wisconsin at 13.
Okay. And then 12. 12 is Minnesota for me. I think they'll be solid, just not great. About
Nebraska.
The same as last year.
Nebraska for me was
Nebraska.
12.
I'm a little higher on Nebraska than that.
Yeah, I think stumbling recovery for Matt Rule here, and this may be the time where we sort of figure out that maybe this experiment isn't working as well as it once was for him.
My 10, 11, 12 can all kind of be switched around. I think
I'm in the same exact boat.
Because that's my 12 is Minnesota, my 11 is Michigan State, then my 10 is Nebraska. And I think any of them can kind of go wherever. Like I said, I have hopes for Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State. Mm-hmm. That's why I have them up there at 11. Maybe they'll be a little bit worse, but I think they could be well. And same with Nebraska. They had a lot of turnaround, especially at the QB position and some other spots. But I think Matt Rule will have them prepared to be somewhat good, like bowl eligible team.
Right. I have same thing. I have Minnesota at my 11. I have Illinois at 10. So kind of cracking into the top 10. Illinois is not they had that uptick for like 2 years where it was like, oh man, this is a good team. Like
Luke Altmaier.
Yeah, and Chase Brown and like all like some dogs on those teams. But number 9, big upswing.
Ooh.
UCLA.
Okay, that's where you have them. That is crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy. You're very high on them.
Well, the reason I am is because I don't want to miss out on a Kurt Signetti sweepstakes part 2.
That's fair.
And I want to see how well Bobby. Why am I blanking on his last name?
I don't remember his name.
Bobby,
their new coach.
Yeah,
head coach. I don't remember his name. While you're trying to figure that out, Illinois is my number 9.
Okay,
I have them up
so
there. I think they'll take a step back from where they've been the past 2 seasons, but still be a competitive, good football team.
Who's your 8?
Sorry, wait. I'm getting there. I'm getting the UCLA men's football coach.
Oh, my bad.
Let me get their coach. Sorry.
You're good.
Bob Chesney. Yes, James Madison. Madison guy. Yes, and that's my thing with Illinois is why they're at 9. I think they can do well. Their quarterback from James Madison went to Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those group of 5 teams who had a good quarterback. I think it was the James Madison.
Was it Liberty?
Maybe it's Liberty.
Was it Liberty?
One of those teams. My number 8 though, that is Washington.
Well, okay, that's we are in agreement there.
Okay.
8 is Washington for me as well.
They're a good team.
Yeah, I mean,
I just like the other 7 above them better. I just think those 7 teams will be better. I don't think Washington.
Who's your 7?
My 7 is Penn State.
My 7's Iowa.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fair. I can see that. 100%.
My 6 is Penn State.
My 6 is USC.
Okay.
My 6 is USC. I like Penn State. I like Matt Campbell. I like Rocco Beck. I just think they're going to be decent. And that's why I don't think they're going to be great in the Big Ten, but I think they'll be solid. That's why I have them there. USC,
so wait,
they lost some guys.
You have Penn State at 6.
I have Penn State at 7, USC at 6.
USC
at 6. They've lost some guys to the draft this year. They're good receivers in Malachi Lemon, but they still have Jaden Mavia at quarterback, so I think they're still going to be solid. I can see them being anywhere in the top 6, other than 1 or 2.
Yeah, who's your 5?
My number 5 is Iowa.
Okay, I have USC.
I have high hopes on the team this year.
I have USC at my 5.
If Iowa ends anywhere 4 to 8, I will believe that very easily.
That's right.
I will believe that very easily. They would have to do very, very well to go top 3.
But you got to think, I mean, top 4, you could potentially be a playoff team.
You could. 100% you could.
So cracking into your top 4, who do you have at 4?
My number 4 is Michigan, the Wolverines. I think they will be better than last year.
I have number 4 is Michigan for me as well.
I think they'll just be a better team than last year.
Unbiasedly. 4 is I have Michigan at 4. Now number 3.
Though that 4, let me preface. 4, 5, and 6. Those were very hard for me to put in an order. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. I had to give respect to my own guys, and that's why again I can see them being a lower team. I still really like USC. I like Michigan a lot. Like those are great teams, and they were very hard to decide on. Now, so that's just kind of the way I ended up putting it.
What do you think worst case scenario for Iowa?
Worst case scenario ranking wise in the Big Ten. Probably like 11th.
I was gonna say 10.
Probably like I was gonna say 10, 11. Like a 6-6 team would be, I think, is worst case scenario this year. I don't think that happens. I don't foresee that happening based on their schedule. But if things are bad, that could happen pretty easily. And again, I think I've said this before. My ceiling for the team, I mean, it's 12-0 is the ceiling. You always think that way. The realistic ceiling is 11-1. And my realistic floor is 8-4.
Yeah, I hear that.
But again, anything can happen. You have injuries, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean Michigan. For me, I have Michigan at my 4, and I'm kind of in the same boat where we have a lot of unknowns, like a lot of unknowns. And what I do have faith in,
I think that's what gave them the boost for me to put them at 4 instead of 5 or 6.
That's fair. That's fair, and I'm a positive optimist in that sense too, where I really hope that Kyle Whittingham is going to be able to bring it for them. And I haven't heard much out of camp, and typically when you don't hear stuff, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
That's a good thing, and so that's exciting. But we'll kind of see. But jumping into your top 3, who do you have at 3?
Top 3, my number 3, reigning national champions Indiana.
Wow,
I have them a little bit lower.
Really? No.
I do.
No.
I like Josh Hoover a lot. I like the additions that they've made. I just think the other 2 teams are going to be better.
For me, it goes – this was really, really hard. Very, very, very hard. Like – and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to flip – I have my prompt here, and I'm going to flip them right now because it just doesn't feel right. I'm going to have Ohio State at 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ohio State leaned so heavily.
You're almost making me want to flip something that I have right now too.
I watched a lot of Ohio State football this season. I know you did too, unfortunately, just in the Columbus area.
I mean,
we watched whatever. We watched a lot. But I think they leaned a lot on their defense. And you're losing
a lot of pieces.
You're losing the second best receiver. Really, I think the best receiver on your team. You're
100%.
losing the entirety of the defense. The entirety. Let's call a spade a spade. Lorenzo, Sonny, Arvell Reese, blanking on the safety's name.
The other one. Yeah.
Caleb Downs.
There it is.
Yeah, all these dogs, dude. And so I think Ohio State's going to take a step back. That's at least how I feel.
My only thing about that is I just think we see that out of Ohio State like every 2 or 3 years. We're like, oh, they're going to lose everything. They're going to take a downward swing, and then they just don't.
They reload.
And they just don't. They always reload. So it's like that's for me why they're not there.
These next 2 teams, I think one like both their coaches more, and 2, I think their schedules kind of shake out favorably for them. So who do you have it to?
So I have to flip. I think I have to flip my 1 and 2 right now.
Okay.
Before, when I was thinking about this, obviously I had Indiana at 3. Originally, I had Oregon at 2, Ohio State up on top. I think I want to flip that. I think I want to put Ohio State at my second spot.
Okay.
I you know what? Like,
yeah,
I think they're more of a second spot on this team or in this conference.
For me, Oregon is in my 2 spot.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I know who's your number 1 then, obviously, but
I mean, I got to go with the Hoosiers, man. I love Cignetti, and I think the moves that he made in the portal are just going to continue to show how the game has evolved, and so it's going to be it will be interesting, and that's kind of my case for it.
Yeah, and so like I said, I'm switching my 2 and my 1. Ohio State's my 2. We just talked a lot about them. I still think they're going to be really good, and I just think that they might have a slight step on Indiana this upcoming year to beat them out in these standings. And then Oregon, they're up top for me. You're keeping your star quarterback around. He didn't go to the NFL. He's staying there. He's training his replacement, Dylan Raiola, for the next 2 years after that. Most of that team is still intact at Oregon, and they were really good this year. And I just think that they've all developed, and they're going to take a step up together for next season, and they're going to win the Big Ten championship next year. Win it again.
It's going to be cool to watch. It
is. It's going to be very cool. I'm big on Dan Lanning. I really like Dan Lanning.
I like Dan Lanning a lot too.
I respect Dante Moore a lot. You don't see people come back in these anymore. This doesn't happen. This isn't a thing that just happens.
I just wonder how much of a bag he got from Nike.
Oh, I'm sure a lot. I'm sure it's a lot.
That one, I'm sure.
But who wants to be a New York Jet? Not me.
No.
Not me. And I'm just a guy sitting at home who has a job and talks about football. And I don't want to play for the New York Jets.
I'd play for the New York
Jets.
Obviously,
yes.
I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying.
Like, obviously, yes. But
as a willing able star,
I'm not going to the Jets.
Because you got to think, like, I'm looking at like mock drafts now, like he would have gotten the hype.
He would have went number 2.
He would have gotten the hype to go number 2.
He would have went number 2.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Instead, the Jets are going to use their 16th pick, their other first-round pick, and get Ty Simpson out of Alabama, and that's going to turn out terrible for both of them because I don't think Ty Simpson's very good.
He'll fall to
the Jets are off.
I think he'll fall to the second round. I don't think they're that desperate.
I don't know. Geno Smith.
Yeah,
good Geno Smith.
Even Fernando. They're saying that this is like the worst draft ever, but I mean, we're getting into the weeds.
I mean, we have Fernando, and that's about it.
No, but I'm even saying like prospect-wise.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's not very deep.
It's a very good defensive draft.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not deep.
Right? Yeah, even on defense,
it's more up front.
Yeah, right. But
it's up front talent. Yeah, but yeah, that's where we're looking at for this year so far. Obviously, we got spring games and everything coming up here soon, so things are bound to change. We're bound to see some of these playmakers in some of these spring games. Hopefully, I can find some streaming links for a lot of these. I'd like to see them.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I have also heard rumors about our work that we might be getting to go to the Ohio State spring game.
Really?
As a little team outing, team exercise.
That's
I've heard rumors. I don't know how true that is, but that could happen. That'd be cool. It's like $15.
Yeah.
It's like $15. Might as well go. I mean,
might as well.
It's right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in with us. We'll be back next week with another great topic, and have a great rest of your day and enjoy March Madness. Have a lot of fun with it and win your bracket challenges.
We'll see you.